Oh, there she is. Hello,
Hello.
ladies and gentlemen. It is Jeanette, and she's coming to y'all from Good News Around the World.
Sam
So,
Green.
how you
How
doing
are
today?
you? Oh, great. That was
The table.
absolutely beautiful what you said. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome. And the tables have turned. Usually, it's you
I
interviewing me.
know.
So I'm not. I'm
Feels
not
kind of
that good
weird.
at this. So, all right. So, tell everyone watching a little bit about yourself, like who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing.
Okay. Well, as you all know, my name's Jeanette Christine Coupler, and I grew up in Hazlet, New Jersey. I currently live in Ocean County, and I do sales for a living. But in the meantime, I decided to do this podcast because it was very important to me to get stories out there that people want to be heard. There's a lot of people out there that haven't been heard, that need to be seen, and I just felt it necessary that with everything going on right now, COVID, the war, everything, people just have a lot to say, and I think that they should be able to say it. Um, there's a lot of talents out there that not everybody knows about. There's so many talented people out there that have these unique talents, and when I saw you walking around the world, I thought that was absolutely fantastic, and I wanted to follow that story. I just happened to know you, but I seen you doing it, and I said, we have to follow this. And you were my first interview, and then it just kind of went into another interview and then another interview, and it's just really amazing how this thing is blowing up because there's so many people out there that want to share their stories.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. And there's a lot of people out there that want to hear these stories as well. Um,
It's
give
true.
us an example of I've watched them, but for someone that's never watched before, give us an example, a couple examples of people that you've had on your show, because you
Sure.
cover a whole spectrum of
I do, and
stories.
I do that
So,
for a reason. I don't stick to just one thing because everybody has different talents, everybody has different stories. No story is better than the other one because everybody has problems. Everybody's heartbroken or had something that they went through growing up that they want to share and just get it out.
yeah,
So I don't just stick to one thing because of that. So for instance, I had Christine Card on, which most of the people watching know, and she wanted to tell her story about her eating disorder. And for other people that have a disorder like that, she shared her story so that other people can get the help they need, or if they want to share their story about what they were going through.
mm,
So then I had DJ on, and he told a story as to why he started DJing and how it blew up, and there's just a lot of different stories. And you, for instance, you just happen to feel like you want to help people, and everybody loves you for that, and there's a purpose there for you, which and you're seeking that. So I think a lot of these stories, even people just speaking out, it gives them a place to speak, but then step back and say, I have an idea. This is what I want to do with my life now.
mm,
So I think this whole station does a lot for people because it gives them the sense to tell their story. And then when they're done telling the story, they can go on with their lives and do the things that they want to do. And that's a lot of what this is about too, is to go after your dreams, do what you want to do, because as we know, this could all end tomorrow.
yeah.
So
Share the good news around the
exactly.
world.
Yeah.
So, what do you where do you see this going? How do you see Good News Around the World progressing, and like what where do you see Jeanette in 5 years with Good News Around the World?
Well, I always have ideas, as you know. What I'd like to do is really get it around the world, and it's kind of starting to pick up that way. I would like to get on a platform or YouTube and start sharing with the world and get people from around the world to come on and share their stories. I don't know. I mean, it could go anywhere. I mean, it could
Yeah.
turn into maybe me getting an RV and meeting the people that I've interviewed and then re-interviewing them in person. That could be an option too. I've been thinking about that. I think that would be pretty cool. But with that aspect, I would really love to meet, because a lot of these people I haven't even met before. Some of them I have, you and Christine, but most of these people I've met on Facebook, and I think it's pretty interesting to meet people on Facebook, interview them, and learn about their lives, and then maybe someday I can go out there and meet these people.
It's cool. That's awesome. I think it'll get, the sky's the limit. And hope is what everyone's looking for in this life. The people that you interview, and you get the hope from them and energy from them and good vibes. Now, you've interviewed me. You've interviewed a guy skateboarding across country. You've interviewed Christine with her eating disorder. Now, out of all the people you've interviewed, what is one story that just kind of like stuck with you and you thought, like, damn, like more people need to hear this, or something that, like, a story that maybe changed your life?
A story that changed my life. Each story has a place in my heart because everybody's story is different, but everybody's story kind of comes together as heartache or a challenge that people had to deal with. So we've all had challenges. I have, you have, Christine has. I think out of every story, believe it or not, and it just came on a whim, was that girl Heaven the other night, because that girl was 14 years old when, she found out that she had thought she had cancer and was dying. And that's a lot to take in. And for that girl to go through what she went through and still be here and fight to get the results, she don't even know if she really had it or not, So that story was really huge for me. But then there's Steve Milani, who was, he got the bus, he's getting an RV himself and he's traveling around the world because he wants people to trust him, Everybody has their little thing of why they're doing what they're doing. You're doing your thing because you want to help children or animals, or but the main purpose of this whole thing is, if everybody comes together to help one another, the world can be a better place. As crazy as it is, if people just realize that there are good people in the world isn't just chaos and fighting. There are good people. Everybody's gone through something, but if we do come together, at least in our circle, we can make it better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
we humans are social creatures, and we've seemed to have lost that in the past couple of years. I mean, we all still socialize on social media and stuff like that, but I've read studies where most people go on social media to only talk about bad stuff. And and even though some of your stories, they are heartbreaking and trials and suffering, is that there is hope at the end of every one of your stories.
And the thing with that is, there's usually, through that fight, there's a better outcome. So even though it's not such great news in the beginning of them telling that story, usually at the end of that story, everything turns out okay. Not every story will, but there's, like you said, there's hope. And if people listen, and other people can help donate, like Ethan's thing, or, anybody who's sick, we can help them. The people that we were helping, the vets, I mean, anybody can donate to that anytime they want. But with each chaos in the world, if everybody just comes together to help, go volunteer. I mean, that's why we're doing it. If you can take the time to go volunteer and help these vets, do it. Christmas time, we were trying to get things together. Easter's coming, the summer's coming. There might be a food shortage soon. We don't, nobody knows, but at least this is the place where you can come and just say how you feel or give advice to other people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's it's a it's a good thing. I mean, I've had people come to me and ask me if they could be interviewed to tell their story. I've asked people, um, unique people that I want to follow or have them share their stories. But every single person in the world has a story, and if they tell you they don't, they're lying.
That's for sure. Definitely,
No,
definitely. Now,
and
I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying that we all know that, it's not always peachy keen all the time in everybody's lives, but you know, uh, there's always a light at the end of the
Yeah,
tunnel.
definitely,
Yep.
definitely. People need hope. That's what they need, hope. Something to live for, something to look forward to. Something to keep them going through the open doors. And
Exactly.
yeah, I think you're on to it, Jeanette. You're getting it. There was a couple times when I was on the road and I was like, "Damn, this sucks." I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, the road sucked every day, but there's kind of like when we did our interviews, it just got me that extra couple miles. You know what I mean? And it was just, yeah, it inspired me. Like just trying to inspire other people inspired myself, I guess. Yeah, and yeah,
And I think the biggest thing that struck me with this whole thing too, and what motivated me to do this was the pandemic is a lot to hold. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people freaked out over it and are still maybe or worried about it. But I think what people fail to realize is there's still other things that are going on while this is going on. So it makes it harder for everybody else. So now you have the pandemic, you're worried about getting this virus or, and now people are getting sick. But in the meantime, somebody else is going through, someone else is getting beaten up, or, someone's still struggling with that food disorder or, depression or, rehab. All that stuff is still going on. We can't forget about that. So I think that was the message I was trying to throw out there too, is that it's not just all about COVID, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So I think people need to realize that too.
There's more to the world than what the news is telling you. There are that, that's part of the issue. Is people, like I said, people they forgot they don't care anymore. They
Yeah,
don't care anymore.
they
It's
really don't.
because they're too busy worrying about issues that are bigger than them. When the people on your show, they have issues that are relatable. You know,
Exactly. Yeah,
depression, sickness, looking for something better. Those are the real stories people relate to, and
yeah,
inspiration. You know, the news bombards us, the regular news, the mainstream media bombards us with all this stuff that is really just out of our hands.
yeah.
And it makes you feel powerless, and and it adds to a lot of stress and anxiety that there's no reason for you to have. But
Exactly.
yeah, then you get
I
good
think
news
going
around
back
the
to
world.
I'll be honest, when it first happened, I freaked out, and I'm sure a lot of people did, because nobody knew what
Mm,
was really going on. But then you really just had to ground yourself and say, hey, you have to get through it, or you can't give up.
yeah,
So I think, the class that I took, and then my job in the sales department, and then it spinned off into this, and it's
mm,
it's not only helping people, but it's helping me too, because this is my passion. So it's
yeah,
getting me through the things that I need to get through this, my work that I love to do.
yeah. Now, that class you mentioned,
Hmm.
maybe you want to tell us a little bit about that and what brought you to motivated you to take a class like that. You're going to tell everyone at
Well,
home what it's about. And
I was in a car accident, as some of you know, and I had broken my foot, so I wasn't able to drive. I wasn't able to walk. And I wasn't working at the time because of it. And then, you know, the pandemic hit and I was like, what am I going to do? And then Sam Terrell contacted me because I guess, I don't know if he was watching my page or whatnot. And he said, I have a perfect class for you. And he told me about the 12 limitations and, you know, what it entailed. And it gave you a sense of boundaries and, you know, the people that you surround yourself with. Are you with the right people? You know, what do you really want to do with your life and with the ideas that you have? And, you know, it went into, you know, love and, you know, just the 12 limitations pretty much. So I first told him no because I was just like, you know, and then he did that video and that video struck me. And I keep posting that video, and everything he said in that video was on the same wavelength that I was on as to where the future should be for people. Do what you want to do. Stop listening to the so-called people that say you have to do this. You know, do what you want to do, what your passion is. Be happy, because if you just do that routine of working every day and you're miserable, then what is this all for? I mean, that's really how I feel. I mean, some people have to, they have no choice, I guess,
Yeah.
but every choice that a person makes has a consequence, good or bad. So it's really up to you to really look inside yourself and say, I need to go for it and do what I want to do so I can live my life, fulfill it, and be happy.
Yeah.
And most people don't do that. They don't. And it took a lot for me to get to that point. But taking that class helped. But it was amazing to me that Sam's about 28 years old and he had his first company at 18. And he just, it's his passion and that's what he does. And he showed me a lot. He taught me a lot. And now Ethan, my classmate, I'm working with him doing his skate around the world. And Ethan's come a long way. So it's the class helped everybody in there. Blam, I've interviewed him. It's just been one pretty great ride. And through COVID, which was really fantastic. I think if I didn't take that class, I don't know. I really don't know because I really needed it and it really helped me to keep going.
What's the name of that class?
The 12 limitations.
12 limitations. All right, and I'm sure they can find that on your Facebook page, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll have to check with him, but I'm sure he's going to be doing another class in the summer. At the end of the month, he's doing a big thing out in Orlando on the 30th, where people are going to be setting up tables and everybody's going to share their talents and try and get their businesses moving. I'm going to try and go out there. I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but I'm going to try. If not, we're going to try and do it virtually. But it would be nice to go out there. I think it would be a lot of fun to meet everybody because I've never met them either. Just through Zoom, you know. Yeah. So I think the next venture to be hopefully, you know, maybe summer or next year is to just start traveling and getting out in the world and meeting these people and just having fun, you know.
Yeah. And you got to enjoy life.
Exactly.
It's the longest, shortest thing we're ever going to do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come with an instruction manual either.
It does not. It does not.
We're the product of two people that had a baby and then they say, all right, off to the world you go, off to the races, you know?
You know, and that's a great point that you made because, you know, it's almost like we're put here. We weren't asked to, but we're here. And now you have to take the ball and run with it. And you really have no choice. I mean, everybody has a choice, but my choice is if I'm here, then let's do this thing and let's do it big, you know? It took me a long time to realize that though. And you're doing the same thing. I mean, we're pretty close in age and you're at the point now where I'm here. Let's play this game called life and go, you know? Because that's really what it is, if you think about it.
It really is. It really is. And I think in a lot of ways, COVID saved my life, I think, in a lot of ways. I did. I spent my teens and 20s working and slaving for, I don't even, now that I think about it, I don't even know what for. But when I got that break with COVID, like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm one of them people. I rode the unemployment to the bitter end, folks. I don't even give a crap what you think about that. But I figured that was an opportunity that I would never see again, and that's it. Now I'm restored, renewed, energized. I worked for 15 years straight, and I can't say I have nothing on the people that worked for 40 years straight. But I tell you, I
Right.
worked for 15 years straight, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be an old, wasted my life working and stuff. The people need help. That's that's the reality. People need help.
Yeah.
Yeah, where people are so. That's what I learned probably most about throughout COVID was people just they they when we were in the 2 week lockdown, people didn't know what to do with themselves because they didn't know themselves.
Yeah.
They had never gotten a break like that before, where they
No.
were just alone with their thoughts and what do we
Their
do?
people or whoever. Yeah. I mean, even families. I mean, families were in the house together with their kids when they're used to them going to school, and nobody knew what to do.
Yeah,
And now, you have kids back on video games, and I think it really puts a perspective on what are we doing here.
yeah,
Um, and I think the biggest thing for me, and I believe you too, is it made us ground ourselves and say, hey, this is the opportunity. Now is the opportunity, instead of just saying, oh my God, this is happening.
yeah.
Take the ball now while we can and
Yeah.
see what we can do with it. And kudos to you for doing that.
You
And a,
too.
a bunch of other people, I mean, I've seen a lot of people that I've talked to that have taken this opportunity and ran with it.
Yeah. It's what it's be the. I don't remember which person said it. It was like Buddha or Confucius or one of them. They said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world."
Yeah.
And people think, God, what can I do alone? I can't make change. I'm only one person here. That's bullshit. Anyone,
Yeah.
everything starts with one
One.
dream. You
Hmm.
know, look at like, you hear stories of like soldiers saving 100 kids from the Holocaust, or you hear like that was just one person and a crazy ridiculous dream. And yeah. And nowadays we have the tools. We have social media. We have the opportunity to reach. I think there's like 4 billion people on the internet. That's half the world. So you have an opportunity to reach half the
Every.
world. Yeah. And
And believe it or not, that's how I met half these people. I mean, I've talked to people in Canada. I've talked to people all around the world, and I don't think if COVID didn't happen, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to meet all these people.
yeah,
And I just think that it's fantastic. Now we have church online now. You've seen Marty McGrail on church, and he took the ball and he ran with that. They're traveling, they're going places because they can't open their church. So why not travel and do it live from wherever they're at? I think that's phenomenal.
yeah,
And I think a lot of these companies are going that route now. Everything's from home now because it saves money, saves traveling time. Look at the gas prices now. Who really can afford to drive back and forth to the city? I mean, it's crazy. So I think virtual is the new thing. I really do.
yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of opportunity on it too. You can help people.
Yeah.
Like look at Ukraine, for example. The whole world came together for the people, and for a common, or well, most of the world came together for Ukraine. And it's all social media, it's all just, I posted in a group, who needs transportation drivers out in Ukraine? Like, I'm willing to go in. And
Mm.
yeah, people just linked me up with other people, and now I have a whole network of people
Right.
that goal is to get me to Ukraine. So you're onto something there. The world is viral. You
It
know,
is.
all the people you reach. Yeah, I've looked at some of your previous video numbers, and as of right now, you know, you reach about 40 plus people a video, you know, and
Yeah.
that's 40 people that you made stop and think, you know, oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's, yeah. So, how's the YouTube channel coming along? I know the answer to it, but for the
Yeah.
people watching.
I'm just about done with it, and I believe I'm gonna launch it tonight at midnight. It's a really neat site, so hopefully it'll go well. I have some ideas for it, which we're not gonna say anything about that right now, but when it comes,
Yeah.
it comes, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hope for the best and see what happens.
So when they drop that at midnight, I mean, I'll share when you do drop it, I'll share the link to my page.
Okay.
Where can people find the link once you drop the YouTube channel? On your Facebook page?
Yep, I'm gonna
Yep.
drop it on my Facebook page. I'll drop it in my story. I'll send it to you and whoever else wants to share it. That would be wonderful.
Cool. Cool. Now, if you had one thing, well, you're going to say many things to your audience, but let's say, let me think of a good closing question here. I should already have it. Now, just anything you want to say to the audience, inspirational, helpful, you know, don't get anything you could think of that you want to say to your
Um,
to your future audience as well.
um, hmm. Every battle has a fight within, and if you just look inside yourself and think about you instead of everybody else, about what you really want out of life, the sky's the limit, and you can do whatever you want to do. You just have to believe in yourself.
Just believe in yourself. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that people need to realize. If you believe in yourself, then maybe everybody else will too.
Mm. Amen. Amen. Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Huh. Now you got me thinking. You know, that is true. You know, if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? You know, and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, and I've dabbled in like different types of meetings and stuff, and they always say you got to help yourself before you can help other people too. So you always
We've
do
all
that.
been a culprit of that. I think I've been there and you've been there, that we've always wanted to help other people before ourselves. But if you're not grounded in within yourself and help yourself first, then how are you going to help other people?
Yeah.
And um, and I think there's a lot to be said about that. So,
And
you
life's a
know,
work in progress.
it is.
If you guys read my Facebook posts, I'm still working on myself here. Here all the time. You should be a preacher. You should be. Yeah. All right. Hold on, sister. Hey, but no,
Yeah.
beautiful. Hey, hi. I'm so excited for the future.
Yes.
I know you're going to do great things, and you're going to reach a lot of people and help a lot of people. You already have. You're already on the way. We just got to get you out there into the world, Jeanette.
Oh,
And
thank you.
also your podcast, Good News Around the World. As she said, she'll be dropping it at midnight, and I'll send you this video. I've recorded it, and yeah, you're the first person I've ever interviewed. So look at that. And I don't know. Usually on CNN they just hit the end button on the person, but I don't know. Anyway, maybe we catch up soon. And I have I'll in the next week or two I'll have some updates for you, and hopefully I could get back on your show. And
Absolutely. You're always
yeah,
welcome. You know that.
dude, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen who watched, thank you for watching. And Jeanette, have a great night, and I wish you all the best. I do.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's been an honor. Thank you very much.
Hey, I'll see you
Everybody,
soon.
we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye bye.